something to be grateful for. There are a lot of people who are looking for meals. There are a lot of people who have no home.
Right.
And there are a lot of them in California because the governor there stole a lot of the money destined for helping the homeless. I'd like to start off by saying that we're going to see some governors fall.
Good.
And
I've been proactive about it. We're going to just talk about nothing but corruption, and it's all the dirt of the USA, and its corruption is infiltrated all throughout planet Earth.
the Democrat states are dominant in the criminality. Remember the case? It was about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. Donald Trump said, I'm going to get in there into California and free up the water supply because it's being held back. And it took him only about 3 days. He freed up the water supply. Well, that involved some deals cut. And he followed it up by accepting a request by Governor Newsom, who's a gigantic criminal. It's going to be very clear real soon. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, said to Donald Trump, I think it was $60 billion to cover deficits. The California budget is in trouble. And, you know, this is natural when they destroy the state, destroy the economy, and burn parts down with DEW weapons. Yeah, and people leave and they overtax them and they leave and then they try to tax them on the way out the door. And you need $100 permit to cut down a branch on your tree at your property. Okay, this is really insane. I think California has a psychosis that has infiltrated even within their society among good people. They're not even sure whether they're men or women. They're non-binary morons. It's just really quite psychotic what's going on. But Trump made a deal. He said, yeah, I'll give you a federal 60 billion, but we have to have an investigation into the train because of missing funds, the high-speed train. And we have to have an investigation into the funds for the homeless because nothing's been done on either. And we got many, many billions that are missing. I think we're going to see heads roll. I think we're going to see some blue state governors fall. And I'll give you my short list. Newsom of California, Hochul of New York, Pritzker of Illinois, and Whitmer of Michigan. I think they're all going to be arrested. Maybe Kemp of Georgia. Maybe. Don't know. I'd like to see them each arrested. Okay, the one that could be the first and imminent is Pritzker, governor of Illinois. And I'll tell you what he's doing that is criminal and puts him at risk. He is saying that he is going to offer safe harbor for any illegal immigrant who is under threat to be deported. And he's gone further. He has now initiated programs to alter and change the identity of illegal immigrants in order to evade the deportation. So that is obstruction of justice. It's national fraud, and it's more, you know, we're getting into ground, Scott, where I don't even know what the names of the crimes are. Okay, I think that
it's RICO.
Well, yeah, but Pritzker is a billionaire, and I think he believes that he can do anything he wants because he has a lot of money. But we're going to see the slam. Now, I've been following this, and the slam goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, by the way. What I've noticed is that Team Trump, it's not Trump alone, it's his legal team, it's his officials, it's Kash Patel at the Attorney General, the Department of Justice. It's a lot of different individuals who are working on this. No, Bondi, Pam Bondi is Attorney General and Kash Patel is FBI. Sorry.
Right.
All right. What I'm noticing is that there are a dozen mayors who are in trouble. And the mayors are getting in the way of deportation. The mayors are following up on the lunatic court cases. We're still not done with the hush money and the classified documents. Oh my God, to tell you, the Democrats don't stop when they lose. That's how pathetic it has gotten.
There is no reverse gear.
Around. I know you're not either, but what I'm trying to say is their objective is to wreck the economy, wreck households, wreck your job, wreck your life savings, and then you're going to be prepared for the next chapter, which is the New World Order, and you own nothing and you're happy as long as you follow all the rules, and if you break the rules, you don't get your meal money.
Well,
Okay.
it's kind of a toss-up between, do you think Trump might be actually crashing it now? They're calling for 500% tariff on China now. And so it's a trade war.
It is. I've got an argument that I believe is valid, and it's not my own. I read it a little while ago, and I thought, wow, that makes some sense. If they have a run on the stock market, if they have a run on junk bonds, if they have a run on crypto with Bitcoin, I don't know exactly what the price is. I know it's under 80,000 now.
77,715.
Okay. If you have a run on stocks, certain higher risk bonds and crypto, and you bring down precious metals at the same time, then a lot of money will find a destination in treasury bonds, and that could be the goal. To finance the US government debt, to redeem foreign bondholders who are looking to get out of their treasuries. You can't do that unless you got a bit of a rally. Now, I've been saying now for several months, at least 4 or 5 months, that we're going to see lower price inflation from food, fuel, and interest rates. Those are the really important ones. It's food, fuel, and interest rates. If you can bring down prices in those areas, you're going to see a lower CPI. The trouble is that Trump is of the belief, and I think it's fallacious, that foreign companies will not pass on the tariff, will not pass it on to the American consumer. We've already seen that they are. I thought that was a really dumb thing that Treasury Secretary Bessent said about a month ago. He said there'll be no price inflation impact from the tariffs. Oh, really? So the entire loss will be absorbed by the foreign companies and their nations? I don't think so. We're already seeing higher prices for Canadian, let's just say, food products and electricity. In the northern border, especially in the Northeast, Quebec is a giant hydro producing province. Quebec. Sorry, Quebecois. Okay, that means I'm a person from Quebec. I say Quebec because I'm an American, so be it. Okay, but in Minnesota, they buy electricity also. In Wisconsin, they buy electricity also. And they passed along the tariff. Bessent, got to go back to school on that one. You messed up. We're going to see higher prices. I think it's going to be across the board, and I think it's going to nullify all the progress that we see for eggs, cheese, milk, bread, food products, gasoline, diesel. It's going to offset, and we're going to have no big gain, no big win with lower price inflation. The tariffs, they're a great negotiating tool, Scott, but when it comes to actual transactions, at the store. It's going to be at the transactions at the store. It's going to be a mess.
Now, wouldn't the price, because now they're saying gas is $55 a barrel and it's been going down. They said it could actually hit $40 a barrel. The impact of that alone would be a big infusion back into the economy. And nobody's talking about how the price of gas right now, they just kicked in the summer blend in spring so that, they could keep the gas prices up. It's $2.95 here in Dallas. And so,
what was it several months ago when it was bad, when it was much worse? What was it?
It was
like
probably like 3.25, maybe 3.50 at best. But we always seem to have pretty decent prices for fuel, unlike California where we get like $5-6 a gallon.
Well, they
they'll
have
get
taxes because
stupid.
they
Yeah,
have agencies to protect transgender fish.
Yeah, exactly. And so they pass it on to their transgender people.
Well, it's a great minority. It's not even 1%, but we're
I
led to
know.
believe that it's like 7 or 8. It's not even 1. It's not even 0.5%.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be passed on. The costs are going to be passed on. We're not going to see Japan say, well, we're selling Toyotas, Hondas, and Nissans in the United States, and the Japanese government and the central bank are going to absorb all that loss. No, they're not. They're going to pass on the cost to the American consumer. I heard only a couple stories of Japanese cars already costing more. Okay, Besson, you need to go back to school on that. I don't know where you got that lunatic idea that they won't pass on the cost. They will, and the American consumer will pay for it. So it's basically a tax that the American consumers pay that goes to the U.S. government. And Trump says we're going to bring in lots of money for the External Revenue Service. Okay, that sounds really wonderful, Donald. What are you going to do at the household level? Okay, I tell you, there's a lot of really dumb economic thinking out there. It's like, don't they ever get out there into society and buy things, or do they have their secretaries do the buying? Do they ever cook a meal, or do they just go to restaurants? Do they ever stop at the gasoline station to buy gas, or do they have their chauffeur doing that? Okay, this two-tier society doesn't work with perceptions. Okay, I believe we're going to see lower interest rates, and I believe there's going to be a lot of pressure for Powell, who's basically a BlackRock agent operating at the Fed. I think he's going to be pressured to lower interest rates. I said a few months ago, we're going to see a realization and an admission of a deep recession, and they're going to blame it on Trump when it's been there since the lockdown in 2021.
Sure.
Scott, we've had an inflationary depression for 4 years. We locked down. What's the economic activity during a lockdown?
Zero.
Well, pretty much, except for the big box stores to ruin the small businesses.
Right.
The big businesses are operating. Okay, I have a friend. This is a very local story. I have a friend who owns 3 upscale clothing stores in Los Angeles. He got threatened with heavy fines of several $100s a day if he didn't shut down for health reasons because of the pandemic that resulted in empty hospitals. I love that phrase. The pandemic that resulted in empty hospitals that went bankrupt for being empty. And he was told that your water will be cut off, your electricity will be cut off. Don't try to manage through this or we'll fine you several $100s a day. And he just went down the road and he saw Neiman Marcus open. He saw Macy's open. He saw, what's the big Home Depot? He saw that open. So the bigger the company for retail, the more likely that they're open, but you got to wear a mask. He said, okay, I'll have my clients wear a mask, but I want to stay open. I have bills. And they said, well, if you do that, it'll be several $100s fine per day. Okay, this was the lockdown. It was not equitable. we've been in inflationary depression since then. And I remember the shadow government statistics in late 2021. It showed 15% price inflation. In the following year, it came down to 11 or 12. And I have a research query of my own. It was the Chapwood Consumer Price Index, a basket of 500 items. And that includes services, like, water, your water bill, your car insurance, your home fire insurance, sewage control, and all kinds of items for food, fruits, vegetables, meats, whatever, all kinds of different things. And in 2023, the Chapwood price inflation was 9%. That was the average across the United States. And once again, just like it was like 7 or 8 years ago when I first heard about Chapwood CPI, the big cities in the big blue states had about 11%, 2% higher price inflation, like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. All right. They wrecked the supply chain. Trump, I heard this just yesterday. Trump is planning a grant for farmers who have been harmed by lots of different things, including the fake avian flu threat, where the Department of Agriculture comes in and burns alive.
Yeah.
Burns alive tens of thousands of chickens because of 2 or 3 fake avian flu diagnoses with no verification. I read one story. It was on a national website. The farmer said, I had a sample of my own chickens done privately, and they had no avian flu, and they couldn't verify the Department of Agriculture's claim. And they said, well, if you continue this, you're going to be fined $1 million a week. So he gave in and had 37,000 chickens killed, burned alive. Okay, this is what they're doing to bring about higher egg prices. It's eggs, milk, bread, cheese. I always add yogurt in there. One reason I stay healthy is I got good probiotics. I know there's some sugar in the national brands of yogurt, but I've been taking yogurt and fruit pretty much every day since graduate school. I mean, since 1970, late 1970s. So I monitor yogurt. Scott, we're going to see, I think, some radical changes with the food supply, and it's going to be positive.
Yeah.
But unless we get numerous bilateral agreements, and we're very likely to get them.
Oh, agree.
We're getting some. In my March newsletter, Scott, I had a list of all the different national commitments for foreign direct investment. Okay, it's called FDI. It's a common macroeconomic term, foreign direct investment. Like United Arab Emirates has pledged $2 trillion or 1.8 trillion. Saudi Arabia has pledged, I don't know exactly, I thought it was 1.2 trillion. I think they're going to make refineries because, the cabal has been blowing up diesel refineries. So Saudi might want to take that business. Okay, it's going to be really clear really soon how corrupt the Democrat Party has been in sabotaging the economy and in grand larceny. The magic money machine. Oh my gosh, this is all over the news. It's not just the auto pen. When are they going to have the news out that there is suspicion and investigation that Biden died before his inauguration? When are we going to get that, Scott? Do you think that's coming?
Hell no, man. They got too many actors to protect.
I have a theory, and it's a weird one. If Trump admits or goes for an admission and goes for investigation and proves that Biden was a puppet and was dead before the inauguration, and even goes so far as to say that the inauguration was proved to be a funeral, in January of 2021,
Right.
then Trump will open the door for actors working on behalf of the White Alliance. And I'll give you one good example. This is from my home state of Pennsylvania. Okay, we remember the cartoon character Fetterman winning the rigged election in Pennsylvania for the Senate. Senator Fetterman, who couldn't put 18 words together at a press conference. He resembled a character out of the Addams Family. Shortly after his installment for the Senate seat of Pennsylvania, it was revealed that he was dying of cancer, which told me that he might have been murdered, but he might have been installed somewhere, I don't know, in Arizona or Idaho or Arkansas to run a 7-Eleven store in witness protection. Okay, we had a replacement to John Fetterman, Senator of Pennsylvania. And to qualify, all he had to do was make a goatee and shave his head. And then the moron public would say, yep, that looks like Fetterman. I recognize that as Fetterman. Okay, your low IQ nitwits out there who dominate the Democrat Party. Okay, then I noticed that a month later, that Fetterman was gone. And a new Fetterman showed up who had also a goatee and a shaved head, and therefore he qualified to be a Fetterman. And here's where it gets funny, Scott. The new guy, he's Fetterman number 3, version number 3. He's starting to speak out about the wisdom of deportation for illegals, illegal immigrants, and he's speaking out about the wisdom of removing slush funds. And he even made some derogatory comments about the leadership of the Democrat Party. So I raised the question of whether Fetterman was removed because he couldn't speak or think or act the role, but his replacement was by the black hats. And he got captured by the white hats and replaced by the white hats. That's what I believe is going on with Senator Fetterman of Pennsylvania. And he recently, I think it was a few weeks ago, he had a meeting one-on-one with Trump to talk about, I think progress in the Democrat Party for reforms or whatever. Okay, this guy is not of the same page as Pelosi and Schumer and those clowns.
Right.
All right. Therefore, what I'm leading to is that maybe Trump is not going to reveal that Biden was dead. What he wants to do is reveal that Biden didn't sign off on all those orders because he was incoherent and out of control of his own mind. And that would eliminate perhaps some federal judge appointments. We're working, this is not finance. We're dealing with, rescue of the nation, Scott. We're about to see progress at the mayor level.
Right.
And they're going to work up from the mayor level to the governor level. We're having now attacks. I believe we're going to see really soon this Judge Boasberg, James Boasberg. Okay, he got nailed. He got nailed by Elon Musk, and Musk turned all the evidence that he had against Boasberg, who interfered with, I believe it was a U.S. government military flight to deport several hundred Venezuelan violent illegal immigrants from Tren de Aragua.
Yeah.
Okay, the Venezuelan violent gang members. For those who don't remember, it's Tren de Aragua. It's the Aragua train. Okay, train in Spanish is train, but T-R-E-N. They pronounce R's differently. Tren. My favorite name in Spanish is Rodriguez. You get to roll the R twice rapidly. Rodriguez. Okay, and that takes practice. Most Americans can't pronounce the Spanish R very well.
The R is the toughest word. I'll be the toughest letter. I'll be the first to admit. All the gringos have problems with the R's, man. It's like the R. Why you gotta?
It's not just the Scott, not just the R, the double R.
Yeah, it's the erdre.
Well, I got a funny story. It's really brief. I went to renew my driver's license years ago, and the guy said, "Tu tieni un carro?" No, sorry. Let me get that right. I've lost my voice from recent events. "Tu tieni un carro?" And I thought, well, what do I say? Because I pay for my sweetheart's car and I drive that. So I had to think, and I said, no tengo un carro. And he said, no carro, no carro, carro. He rolled that R. He really rolled that R. He didn't like gringos, and I couldn't care less.
I know.
All right, so where are we here? Okay, the judges. Boasberg is in trouble. Boasberg, I think, is going to be, I don't know the right words. I think he's going to be excused and what's the word? Suspended. I think he's going to be suspended from the bench. I think he's going to be suspended because he is in violation of several different policies and rules that might qualify as felonies. Like he jumped the line while on vacation in order to take a Trump case and rule against Trump when he wasn't next in line. He was on vacation. He also interrupted a military flight to, I believe, El Salvador, and he got caught. And they have a conversation of him being caught. And they have other conversations of Boasberg being caught. And it's related to sustaining USAID funding and his justification that he will use at the bench to rule against Trump. And Boasberg, I think, is going to burn. I'm hoping he does. Yep. But they're going to start with certain federal judges. I think they've warned some of them that if they continue on their politicized, motivated judgments, rulings from the bench, they will be removed and they might face possible treason charges. First of all, for making rulings that are unconstitutional. Okay, they're sworn to uphold the Constitution. But
exceeding their authority. That would be official oppression, and that is a crime.
I think many of the items that I refer to are felonies, but you know, when it comes to behaviors and rulings of judges, it's a fine line sometimes between just a wrong ruling and an unconstitutional ruling and a felonious ruling bordering on treason. Let me just say something regarding University of California at Berkeley. It's often called the People's Republic of Berkeley. They have law professors at the Berkeley Law School who are openly advocating violation of Trump's executive orders, violation of Trump's activities toward investigation of fraud in California, and basically we're calling it hands-off now, hands-off rulings. The federal, the executive branch is being told hands off because we've got our Obama and Biden judges at the federal courts who are our friends and who are not ruling according to the Constitution. Okay, after they have made examples of certain federal judges, I think they're going to go after the Supreme Court. Now, I've mentioned this before. There's a judge and her name is Ketanji Jackson.
Oh yeah.
I think I got the name right. I have been following at least 3 of her dissenting opinions.
What a bunch of rambling potato salad, word salad crap.
Well, when I hear Justice Jackson, who's, I believe, a Biden appointment.
Yeah.
When Justice Jackson says we can't cut out all these different U.S. aid agencies being funded because it would be disruptive to the economy. And she doesn't address the fraud and doesn't address the treasonous agenda for those NGOs, non-government organizations, and talks about the disruption to the economy. That's not a constitutional ruling, Scott. And she's got several of these. And I think she's got to go. So how would it be if they prove that Ketanji Jackson was an illegitimately appointed justice to the Supreme Court by the fake President Biden? Okay, we need to get the fake President Biden concept installed without claiming that he's dead.
Yeah, he was just brain dead.
They're going to claim brain dead, incoherent cognitive disability. That's what they're going to claim. And therefore, they're going to be investigating to find out who is making the orders, who wrote the executive orders, who issued certain directives toward appointments, and the name is Obama. Okay, that's what I think we're working toward. And the Supreme Court is going to be such a hairy battleground. It's Ketanji Jackson, but they may force. I'm going to just share with you, Scott, some of my theories, and bear with me because they're a little bit out there. They might approach Sotomayor, who's an Obama appointment for justice at the Supreme Court. It's a woman named Sotomayor, a Latina woman. Well, she has been issuing lots of really not as stupid as Ketanji Jackson, but just dissenting opinions that just seem wrong. She cites constitutional grounds and it just seems wrong. I've read a few and I go, oh my gosh, how could you think that? How could you regard that as a logical constitutional argument? I'm not a constitutional expert, but I can read cow dung when I see it.
Misapplying the law.
Misapplying a law, misinterpreting the Constitution. Sotomayor has been in trouble with her health. So what they might do is say, we're going to order you to resign. And if you don't resign, we're going to make your life miserable by doing, bank account checks, bank account examination analysis. We're going to put Elon Musk all over your ass. And we're going to find stuff. So resign, take your pension, and Trump will replace you. The hard one is going to be Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. Now, I don't know if you've been following much, but in the last 2 weeks, Chief Justice Roberts has sided with the majority in favor of Trump.
Yeah.
And I always look to see, well, who's on the dissenting side? On a recent case, Roberts was not on the pro-Trump side, but Justice Amy Coney Barrett was pro-Trump. So what we might be seeing, Scott, is something very unusual where Roberts and Amy, I just call her Justice Amy because it's hard to remember whether Barrett or Bartrey or Coney or Conan.
She don't know which last name to take. I hate hyphenated names. I think that is the dumbest shit ever.
Well, it's her maiden name and her married name. That's how
it's still her grandpa's other maiden names or grandpa's other name. So it's still taking a man's name.
Okay. All right. I believe we might be seeing something like this. Amy and Roberts are alternating to be pro-Trump so that neither one gets canned. Oh my gosh, this could get really weird. Now, I think I got some information. Let me share a story that I heard way back. This was in the autumn of 2020. I heard from a client who is a former attorney. I'm going to embellish this to protect my client's identity. A client who used to work in a Washington, D.C. law firm as an attorney and knew some judges and knew some lobbyists and knew some senators. And this client told me they've got the goods on Justice Roberts. They're putting him on a short leash. He will be following the White Alliance agenda. He will be obedient, or they will nail him for murder conspiracy for Justice Antonin Scalia. And I said, what kind of evidence? And I was told email evidence, phone conversation evidence, and text message evidence. And he was very careless, talking about the murder, the murder of Scalia, so that he could move forward and take the Chief Justice chair. He was in on the conspiracy. He was in on the planning. And I don't think he was in on the event itself, but that's called murder conspiracy. Okay. Now, on top of that, the press likes to focus on the 2 children that Roberts purchased from Epstein Island. And that's all ugly, but to me, it's secondary. Murder conspiracy is primary.
I agree.
I think we're going to get something really strange with respect to Roberts. And let me just throw this out as wild speculation coming from my desk, Scott.
Sure.
They might fake the death of Chief Justice Roberts and send him to Guantanamo, where he'll be hanged. And we will be digesting the details of his heart attack or COVID incident that took his life, or some drive-by shooting by a wild-eyed patriot, something stupid, but fake the death of Roberts to get him out of there and send him to Guantanamo. And if he cooperates, he won't be sent to Guantanamo. He'll be put into witness protection and a new identity, and he can live in the Hamptons, in New York, safe haven. He can live among the bankers. He can live in Virginia among his traitorous military generals. Okay, there's a big cleanup going on. They have faked the death of a number of people. John Lennon, I think Prince, the black singer, who talked about, I think he talked about HARP weapons when arguing against climate change theories. We have a number of them that have had a fake death. I think Elvis Presley had a fake death. I am absolutely certain that Princess Diana had a fake death. That has been forensically analyzed, and the conclusion was that was not her car. The license plate was not the same. I have recent pictures in my collection of Princess Diana, and it's got that same very beautiful face, now 20 years older, but that same very distinctive hair. Her hairline and her hair flow is very unique. It does not lie flat. It's a big bush, and it's exactly the same as her younger pictures. Her mouth is the same, her eyes are the same, her nose is the same, her chin is the same, and she's got 20 more years on. Okay, we're going to have a lot of different revelations. And by the way, Prince Charles is long gone, like 3 years ago, Prince Charles. They replaced him with the phony. I got it in my collection. Unless you see it right side, left side, Scott, it's hard to tell. But I have shared my left side, right side of Prince Charles and King Charles with approximately 30 people, and not a single one says it's the same one. Not the same guy. Not a single one. All right. I'm really curious how the Supreme Court is going to get cleaned up. We got Sotomayor, who could be removed for health. We got Amy, who might be removed, or I think controlled because of some private activities involving kids. But Chief Justice Roberts, he's got to go. There's just no way he can remain there. And I keep reading, he's got friends in high places, which means if they want to remove Justice Roberts, there's a threat like against Robert Kennedy. There's a threat against Melania, wife of Trump. We're now seeing death threats for Robert Kennedy, Elon Musk, Kash Patel, Pamela Bondi, and it doesn't stop there. I think the hardest battles are going to be with the medical sector, Scott.
Well, the tariffs go on to all the medical sector in the next day or so. So get it fired up. I want to see it all crash and burn personally. So this is wiping out a whole shitload. It's funny though, even the stock market's up again now, so they don't know what's going on. So I want to see them all crash and burn. Seriously.
Well, there'd be a lot of innocent people who crash and burn. If the dollar goes to hell in a handbasket, that might eliminate all subscription income. It might eliminate all Patreon income. It might do tremendous damage. I think the solution with the White Alliance has a lot of supercomputers at work for a seamless transition, and
Well,
it's going to be
that's
difficult.
inevitable. Inevitably, that's the whole reason it crashes and they transition it over, and then things start finding their true value, like silver and gold and cryptos and XRP and all this other stuff. It's artificially being suppressed right now. I mean, the market's up 200, 300 points right now.
Well, yeah, and I got to give a little hat tip to Rick Ackerman. He has a private newsletter, and he does some pretty interesting marketing. He'll make public a single page or 3 paragraphs, and he said in a recent free essay, a portion of the essay, it's click here to subscribe after you see 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs, and he said that we're about done with the crash and the decline of the stock market. We're about done. S&P has only 2, 3, 4% more to go before there's what he calls the hidden pivot. The hidden pivots are just evident reversal points from the recent past and a result of certain patterns that are recognized.
It's going to find its lows. Everything's going to find its true lows here, and then it's going to bounce.
It's not 15, 20, 30% lower. It's not. It's just, I don't think it's going to be that way. I think we're about as low as we're going to get. We got there quickly, and it was very scary. And we're going to see a quick recovery in Bitcoin, a quick recovery in silver, a quick recovery in XRP, and like by the time we get to June, we might have forgotten this event. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh, there'll be something else happening. Yeah, there'll be something else happen.
maybe. I think we're going to see a near seamless transition to the new dollar system, the new banking system. I've been hearing for 2 years that QFS has been mirror image of the banking system. Well, that's all fine. I'm waiting for Jacera. I got my bucket ready. If they want to give me a rebate of all the income tax plus interest that I paid in the course of 30 years, I'm ready for that. Got my bucket ready.
Hell yeah.
Okay, this is going to be a really wild few months. And some of my clients didn't like it when I said back in February and March, this is not going to be quick to clean up. We're not even done cleaning up USAID. We're having battles now, and Trump is winning. Trump is winning federal judge court rulings. Trump is winning them. He's got a winning streak of 3 or 4 now. Mm-hmm. The other federal judges are running scared because they're watching what's happening to Boasberg. Boasberg is in trouble. I think he's going to get nailed for treason.
That would be perfect.
I'd love it. I'd jump up and down on my bed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. When I talk about a seamless transition, Scott, I'm referring to the dollar not going away, not going to zero. That's just, I think it's silly talk. I think we're going to get a new dollar. It's going to replace the old dollar. We're going to have new contracts that replace the old contracts. What do you do with company X that has 87 clients, all with dollar-based contracts? You don't just wipe it out and fire all the people. If
No,
you do that across the board, you're going to have nearly like 90% unemployment and riots and starvation.
well,
And
the transition is exactly what you're talking about. It's what everybody's talking about, but they're transitioning it to where it's asset backed by a hard commodity.
yes,
And that is going to be the big transition because the value of the dollar right now, it's lost 97%, which is, there's only 3 cents left in the dollar right now. It's been inflated away a long time ago
I
because it's not asset backed.
I understand that. When we get a new dollar, I believe there's going to be a switch over where you don't lose your entire life savings in your pension program, your IRA, your 401k. You don't lose it all because it's dollar based, old dollar. That's not going to happen. And people are worried that it might. I just don't think it's going to happen. We're going to get a transition where old moves to new and it's honored. You had a bank account with XYZ Bank out of Michigan or Ohio or Texas, and you still have that bank account. It's now a new bank account, QFS system, and it's now going to be backed by some assets, and not redeemable, but backed. Scott, we got a lot of things coming down the pike. Many of them are very exciting. I just like to say that I believe that there's going to be gold brought to the table. And notice how they completely finessed the Fort Knox audit. They said, oh, it's all there. Next story.
Well, did you hear the latest where some of these, it was like Thursday or Friday when the stock market took a real big shit. And it came out Monday. They were saying that some of those big closing houses had to use gold to settle their positions or something. And that was the first time I ever heard of that.
Yes, they're having trouble settling positions. They're having trouble honoring contracts. And there's a lot of big problems regarding metal leasing, gold and silver leasing. For settling contracts, it's mostly settling with gold leases. And, I like to go back to Fort Knox. We were told, hey, look, we got a Fort Knox audit coming. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. And then it's all there. Let's move on. No, I'm sorry, not good enough.
Nope.
I think what they learned was the gold is there and they're not certain who the owners are because it's been leased multiple times and they're trying to sort it out and they're cutting deals. I think the violating parties, the criminal parties, are cutting deals, turning state's evidence, and we're going to see some big banks and financial firms crater. And I go back to a principle that I learned leading up to the Lehman incident in 2008. I correctly called with a lot of help from my colleagues and a couple of clients, one in particular who later became a colleague. Very interesting, that story. But I came to learn that they select the kill. JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs selected Lehman to be killed because JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were even deeper into the mortgage finance fraud than Lehman was. But Lehman was the odd man out, kind of like Bear Stearns was, because Bear Stearns was short the dollar, long gold. They had to take that out. Bear Stearns was long gold. They had to kill it. So they did. That was 03. In 08, they killed Lehman. I think they're going to select a Wall Street bank, Scott, and because of past, let's just say past Bush family connections, I think they're going to kill Bank of America.
That's been the chatter for a year or two now.
And I got news from a couple of clients that they were told, remove your funds from your personal individual bank account at BOA because we're not going to honor personal accounts in the near future. So something is happening at Bank of America. I think they're going to be selected. I think that the powerful core of Wall Street, it's the big three. It's Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Citibank. Citibank is where Robert Rubin went. Now, when Robert Rubin didn't get the CEO position at JP Morgan, and he was a lifelong JP Morgan executive, he was the, I think he was the vice president of the gold trading, precious metal department at JP Morgan in London. And when he did not get the CEO post in the 90s at JP Morgan, he was kind of transferred among the brethren and was given the post of CEO of Citibank. And one of his first big deeds was to steal the Native American, AKA Indians, the Native American $5 billion trust fund. He stole it. He stole it and threatened the chiefs. And the settlement case for the Native American tribes, there were, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there were 230 at the peak 300 years ago, 230 Native American tribes, 230 of them.
Wow.
But the settlement involved, I like piecing things together because it makes for a good picture that is credible. After Robert Rubin stole the $5 billion or $8 billion Native American congressional fund that was part of a settlement, the Native Americans just went wild building casinos. They declared their lands to be sovereign nations. They made casinos, and they began the tax of the white man. And I've been to a couple. I went to, there was one in Connecticut. Don't think I can remember the name. I went to a Connecticut. That's a hop, skip, and jump from Boston. In the New England, the states are all small except for Maine. I can't think of the name of the Connecticut casino, but my friend loved to go there to lose $1,000 and boast about it. Yeah, that's great. Just give me the money, Ed. Just give me the money. I'll put it to good use. Okay, so that's the overall settlement with the Native American tribes. And I heard, oh gosh, my friend made some friends among the, oh gosh, if you could look up while I'm running my mouth, if you could look up Connecticut casinos, Native American, he made a friend of one of the managers there. And he said, how do you work the management of your profits and your estate, your savings account, your nut? And he said, well, for the first several years, we'd offer these like 3% loans to Native Americans who wanted to do, small business setup. But we ran out of Native Americans. So we began
they have two Indian casinos, and one's the Mohegan tribe and the other is the Paraquat, Mascantucket Paraquat tribe.
Mohegan?
So there's your, huh?
Mohegan?
No, Mohegan, yeah, that was the other one.
That might have been, I just don't remember that was it. Anyway, okay. So what this Native American low-level manager told my buddy Ed was after they ran out of Native Americans to give loans to, they decided to loan to the white man.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it at 3%. They did it at the regular lending percent, not 13%, 12% for cars, but it was like the mortgage rate for 30-year mortgages, like 5, 6, 7%. He said they were making money on the white man. And I got to tell you this, and this is the truth. I never bet $1 at their casinos. I went for the meals. They had great cafeterias, and my buddy Ed was a really good guy. He was a millionaire, and he was a good athlete, and we had a lot of fun together. We played tennis together. We We did a lot of things. We went to intramural softball game at softball games together at the church. And he bought me lunch. He bought me dinner. And he said, you know where to find me. I'll be at the blackjack table. And, you know, it was sad to watch it because he'd lose $1,000 almost every single time. And that was his entertainment because he had a lot of money. He had some property in New Hampshire and property in Boston. And he did very well. And he was my friend. I kept up with him for a while. But, you know, when I moved south 4,000 miles, it's a little bit hard. Scott, we got a lot of exciting things coming, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the replenishment of the food supply and the fuel supply, with farmers and ranchers getting a grant in compensation for abusive governmental activity, with foreign nations like the Saudis, UAE, perhaps building diesel refineries while we work toward a transition in, you know, energy usage and electric vehicles. We're going to get Toyota and their ammonia-based hydrogen fuel cell cars. Oh my gosh, Toyota is making great progress. Samsung is making a really advanced silver battery. I think it's called ASS. I don't remember what it stands for.
I remember seeing something about that. Yeah, it has 1 kilo worth of silver in each battery.
All solid state, ASS, all solid state.
Solid state.
And it's like chargeable in 25 minutes, not 3 hours. Okay, ammonia-based hydrogen delivery in Toyota cars. That's what's coming. It's going to knock out these electric vehicles. They're going to become instantly dinosaurs. Okay, I read about this because I've been wondering, you know, I got a little bit of a science background, and I read a lot about cancer and enzymes and nutrition and vitamins, and that's how I stay healthy, and I try to stay young. But, you know, you're basically as young as a woman you feel. But I learned a lot. And what I learned is that the delivery system for hydrogen is going to be fraught. I concluded this 10 years ago. The delivery system and storage of hydrogen for cars is going to be fraught with risk. And Toyota solved it with ammonia, NH3, 1 nitrogen, 3 hydrogens. So they load up a gas tank, not with gasoline, not high octane gasoline, but with ammonia. And then they separate off with the catalyst. They separate off the hydrogen. They combine it with oxygen in the air. And the emission is, it's a steam. It's water vapor.
Water vapor.
Now, I read about this oh gosh, it was last summer and early autumn. It was around June, July, August, right around then. It was several months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I read about this. I read about the Toyota development. And they had, you know, they got their alpha tests and their prototypes, and it's all very exciting. And certain things they solved. They solved the supply of hydrogen in a safe, stable tank. You know, if you had gas in your hydrogen tank and you had a car accident, you wouldn't blow up the car. You'd blow up the entire block. Okay. And what they concluded from their prototype was, we got 0 to 60 in 18 seconds. I love it. I love it. 0 to 60 miles an hour in 18 seconds. So we need to improve upon this. We've proved the principle of hydrogen supply with ammonia. So they mixed in water vapor and they made it turbocharged, and they brought the acceleration to near normal, near acceptable. You got to get out there into the interstate highway. You got to get up to speed from like 30 miles an hour up to 60 or 55 miles an hour. You got to do it in just a few seconds. You can't do it in 18 or 20. That's what Toyota has solved. And Samsung has solved the super battery, all solid state. You're going to be hearing a lot about it. It's Samsung.
I know.
What are the big 3 U.S. automakers doing? Well, they got sabotaged with North American Free Trade Association agreement, NAFTA. And they're bringing back production from Mexico. We're going to have a gigantic foreign direct investment back to the United States and U.S. companies back to the United States. And it's not going to be quick. Scott, I'm very concerned about the next year, 18 months, because you can pledge $1 trillion. SoftBank pledged 200 billion. How long will it be before they're producing electricity and have data farms? Will it be 6 weeks? Will it be 6 months? Or will it be 14 to 17, 18 months? I'm thinking it's going to be 12, 14, 18 months. They talk about fast track for the titles, fast track for property purchase, fast track for environmental regulatory approval. Well, fast track means that it's not going to be 4 years. It might be 18 months. Okay, this is not going to be fast. And we've got an economic depression to contend with. So I say sign up for the hat trick letter, go to golden-jackass.com, get on board, make a subscription, do a consult call, and I'm around the next few weeks. Next 2 weeks for consult calls, I'm available. And
you can do a donation if you want. You got a donation button. So in case you don't have time, you just want to support Jim and his work and all the things that he's been doing, by all means, just go to Golden-Jackass. The link will be in the description too, just in case anybody didn't write it down.
Well, I appreciate that. And let me say that the Golden-Jackass site has subscriptions. It has consult payments button. It has donation button. And it has a sponsor button for the more wealthy who want to make a rather sizable contribution to my cause. Some do. I encourage you to try to do that if you're wealthy. I got to say something at a personal level here, Scott. And I have to be careful about my words. I've been calling out evil and calling out child-related crimes for the last few years. And I believe that I have been harmed in rather significant ways. I don't know anybody who's had 9 fires. No one in my entire life have I known anybody who's had 9 fires. They've occurred in 3 different properties. One recently had done very serious damage to me and some of my extended family members. They seem to be sequential. Like there's one fire, we fix it, we pay the big bill. There's no fire insurance where I'm living in this country. They have earthquake and flood insurance. And believe me, there is a lot of earthquake damage and there's a lot, far more flood damage. Entire towns get wiped out every sorry to say, every May, June, July. It's amazing. But I've been seriously harmed. And let's just say the events that have happened with me with collapsed roofs, erupted septic tank, car crashes, and fires are not normal. My colleagues say, Jim, you're directly over the target and you're identifying it with a shining light. So I am formally telling folks that I'm not going to be talking in details about the criminal deeds regarding kids, but I will be talking about the financial factor of money laundering. It was 1.5 years ago, I had a correct forecast that Credit Suisse in Switzerland was going to fail because of Russians cutting off money laundering in Ukraine. I gave it 4 months and it happened in 2 months. Nobody talks about it. So go to golden-jackass.com. This is Wednesday, April 9th. And let me make it very clear. I have no social network account that posts anything ever. I have no social network account. I have no YouTube account. I have no Twitter account that posts anything ever. So all the people who are out there using my name are either following my work or impersonating me. Those who follow my work, that's all well and good. Get a discussion going, have your clicks, add to the discussion, but do not pretend to be me. I have no social network accounts that post anything ever.
All right. Well, Jim, I know you got another show or two coming up today. You're real busy, and I'm glad you took the time out to come on and express what you're seeing, and your opinions are always valued as usual. So we're living, look, there's going to be some definite things that are going to happen, and there's probably going to be some things that are unforeseen to us that's going to kick in, and never even knew that that was an option. So I think there's going to be some real weird things, wild cards. Let's just say there's going
Let
to be
me
some wild cards.
let me propose a wild card, Scott. Alex Soros will be told you cannot set foot in the country, and they're going to consider putting a bounty on his head. Alex Soros from the Open Society Foundation, because he's funding the riots against Tesla, and he's funding the hands-off demonstrations, and they have turned violent, and he is behind it. And it was his little bitch, Kamala Harris, that he supported. I think Alex Soros might possibly see a bounty on his head and be persona non grata, unwelcome in the United States. That's a wild card.
That's a good wild card. We got a whole deck of them.
Here's another wild card before I go, before I lose the thought. Gavin Newsom is going to be recalled. And they've got a replacement already prepared. His name is Rick Grinnell. And let me give you some information that will, I think, shock a few. When they did a recall vote, I think it was 2 years ago, against Gavin Newsom, if he's not recalled, he's going to lose the next election or decide not to run, because he's going to be exposed for fraud on the train where he stole the money, or the homeless funds where he stole the money.
Right.
When they did a recall 2 years ago, they falsified the vote, and Gavin Newsom won 66.6% of the vote. Does that remind you of? Does that remind you of the S&P 500 decline after the Lehman event, where it stopped at 666?
No, man, they just have to put it in your face. I mean,
and many people don't pay attention.
I know.
And when good people like you and I put it out there, we get hit, we get harmed. I'm not as badly harmed as that Jufrey woman who got hit by a 50-mile-an-hour bus. She might not live much longer. I don't know what is keeping her going, but she let it be known that one of the British princes mistreated her in a rape incident. So she had to go. Okay, this is how it works. This is how it works. People who shine the light on pure evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it with people like Hillary, Podesta, Hollywood, and now we got Diddy. The Diddy story is not done. They are doing massive turning state evidence, flipping. We're not done. Oh my gosh, we're not done. We could see a vacating of Hollywood. Already, I've got clients who tell me, Jim, Hollywood and Burbank studios, they're virtually empty. The movies that are being produced are not being done in the traditional Hollywood area. There's a lot going on. A lot of independent filmmakers are at work. We've got, what were the three? It was Mel Gibson, it was Sylvester Stallone, and John Voight. John Voight, that was the third. They are going to be promoters and like, I don't think they're going to be primary gigantic investors. I think they're going to be promoters to attract capital to make family value and Christian non-terror and non-zombie movies.
Right.
I've noticed a plethora of movies, Scott. They're terror or they're animated cartoons.
Oh, I know. Well, hell, most of all your Marvel comic movies now, there's so much CGI. It's just retarded. It's like watching a video game.
I kn- I know. The video game we saw recently was the State of the Union address in January of 2024 by the fake Biden. That was a CGI event. This is what we're seeing. I tell people, good people like my sister and other close people that I've known who are not tech savvy. I say, hey, look, you're well aware that the Tom and Jerry movie with Chloe, the actress, it was well done. You know, I saw 20 minutes of Tom and Jerry, the animated movie, and you know, it's the kick-ass girl, the young woman who is the prostitute in the Equalizer, Justiciero. In Spanish they call it the Justifier. Okay, Chloe Cavett something, Chloe. Well, I saw the movie. I saw 20, 30 minutes of it. Scott, here are the big things in animated movies that have humans. They've got to get the shadows correct. When there's a bright light in the corner or outdoors with the sunlight, they've got to get the transposition. I don't know the official word. I call it transposing. You can't have someone behind Chloe suddenly appearing when it's 3 feet behind Chloe. And the third thing they have to get right is reflections. Like if they go past a mirror or they go past like a shiny silver tray, then it's got to show an image as the person walks by. Okay, these are the 3 big challenges for animated movies. And they're the same for CGI, computer generated imagery.
Right.
They can't have Biden talking. Remember, it was about 3 years ago, they had the fake Biden doing a press conference and he put his hand right through the microphone. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that is a flaw. And that's one of the things I'm talking about. They transposed his hand through the microphone.
Right.
Okay, you know, if they do it right, he would have bumped it and said, excuse me, and had a little bit of a boom in the sound for the microphone instead of his voice. Okay, I tell people if they're that good at animated cartoons, they are equally good at State of the Union address in front of the joint session of Congress. And a couple of those justices of the Supreme Court were fake.
You know, I've seen pictures where they show like pictures of Congress when they're all in there having their stupid meetings, and it's duplicates of people in rows, and they're able to CGI like section out people and put them and dupe them into the audience. And so, and it's only because other people pointed it out. They're like, check this shit out. I'm like, damn.
Check it out and notice that it's not quite the right look on the face.
Well, no, they're exactly the same, and they're just in a different place, and they're the same person.
Same person, different location,
Yes.
And they move the location into the Congress. Yeah, that's, I tell you, they're really good at what they do. And what I'd like to see Trump do is say, I want to have a demonstration of CGI. I want to have a conversation of Abraham Lincoln, Adolf Hitler, and Dwight Eisenhower. And have them at a dinner and have a discussion at the dinner, eating, drinking, talking, spraying saliva. Abraham Lincoln, Adolf Hitler, and Dwight Eisenhower. I tell you, we're being taken for a ride and I'm not being fooled. I will say that occasionally I am fooled, but not for long. All right, thanks for having me on, Scott.
I just want to, that's the thing about the internet, and you know, there's so many people looking at it from so many different directions and pulling everything apart. That, you know, the hive mind of the internet dissects shit what used to take 5 months, 5 minutes now. And so we're able to call bullshit a whole lot faster because there's so many people are looking at the same type of things, and it's getting better, and the recognition of people is starting to pick up. There's still plenty of dumbasses out there, don't get me wrong, but we're winning.
They're learning. They're
we're
learning.
winning. We're winning. And, you know, with messages that keep coming out, you keep talking, you know, bringing your points, your messages and everything. It's exposing everything from all kinds of different angles. And that's part of it right there. So,
All right. In a closing comment, please go to golden-jackass.com, sign up, consult, donate, sponsor, whatever. But I want to remind people, I had a client do a consult call several months ago. He said, Jim, I've got a friend, and he was involved in a contract at Guantanamo to make 10 stories underground at every major facility. It is expanding not just sideways from Google Earth visible, it's expanding downward.
wow.
There are hundreds of arrests. There are many, I think several dozen tribunals going on at the same time. I'd like to see some mass executions, and
Yep.
the doctors are top on my list because they made a lot of money along with the pharmacy executives. They need to see justice meted out in the form of executions.
Agreed.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Scott.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. I'm glad you could tune in and stay frosty. Donald Trump's a fucking genius.
All right.